Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested by federal agents at a hotel here in New York City. Combs had been living there for several weeks. A person with knowledge of the investigation told NBC News the arrest was based on a sealed indictment brought by the Southern District of New York. The contents of the indictment won't be known until later today, but Combs is facing a wave of lawsuits accusing him of assault and misconduct.
So Diddy is officially in cuffs after D. Richards dropped some explosive tea. You know, things have been heating up around Diddy for years now, but Dawn has exposed him in a way that no one saw coming, and the receipts she brought with her are very crazy. What she revealed was enough to push authorities to finally take action against Diddy.
Big breaking news, Sean Diddy Combs has just been arrested in New York. He was indicted by a federal grand jury in Manhattan and then taken into custody by the federal government. This according to the New York Times and TMZ and other news organizations. His attorney denying any wrongdoing. But this, of course, after a lengthy investigation into him. Fox 11 first back in March when his home in Holmby Hills was raided, tied to a potential trafficking investigation. We still don't know the exact charges that he's facing now, but a major story. One of the most powerful people in the history of the music business now taken into custody.
Now, if you're wondering how we got here, it all started when Dawn Richards, a former member of Danity Kane, decided she wasn't staying silent any longer. For years, she witnessed how Diddy ran his empire, and what she saw was extremely disturbing. But it's not just Diddy who's getting dragged into this mess. Dawn has also pulled back the curtain on Usher's alleged involvement, making it clear that the story goes much deeper than we all thought. So let's break down everything Dawn revealed about Diddy's empire, his power over artists, the abusive environment he created, and just how far his control extended. And stick around, because we're also looking into Usher's shocking role in all of this, from being mentored by Diddy to standing by as some of these shady things went down. Usher's involvement will leave you with a lot of questions. Let's get into the details of how this all went down, starting with Dawn's bombshell testimony.
Diddy touched her places she didn't want to be touched. She witnessed women being given substances to make them be put unconscious and then assaulted. She said she saw Diddy's assistant assaulted at a pool with a bunch of people. And something happens that after that happened to her, Diddy jumped on a plane and left her in the UK. Can't be serious. It's getting old.
So for those who might not be as familiar, Dawn Richards is more than just a former member of Danity Kane. She's someone who's been up close with Diddy for years, witnessing how he runs his empire. In her shocking testimony, Dawn laid out a series of disturbing accusations against Diddy, exposing the truth about how he treated not only Danity Kane, but other artists and people in his orbit. She painted a picture of a man who pushed his artists to the brink, using fear and manipulation to control them. One of the most gut-wrenching claims she made was about how Diddy would deprive her and the other members of Danity Kane of basic necessities like food and rest during their grueling rehearsals. According to her, they would sometimes go as long as 48 hours without a break, rehearsing to the point of exhaustion. And when they would ask for food or to rest, Diddy would shut them down with insults, calling them lazy and telling them they didn't want success badly enough. But things don't stop there. Dawn also alleged that Diddy was often high on illegal substances during these marathon sessions, and that his erratic behavior made the situation even more dangerous. She detailed how he would hold parties in the studio, inviting underage girls to engage in wrongful activities. According to Dawn, these parties were filled with inappropriate behavior that crossed all sorts of lines. She described scenes where Diddy and his associates would grope and touch these women, with the atmosphere becoming quite disturbing. Now, let's talk about the evidence that Dawn brought forward, which was critical in pushing authorities to take action. She didn't just make these claims without backing them up, she came with receipts. According to reports, Dawn provided both physical evidence and testimonies from other witnesses who verified her story. Some of the documents she turned over detailed the mistreatment she and other artists faced, and there were even reports of audio and video recordings that allegedly showed Diddy in compromising situations. This level of evidence made it impossible for authorities to ignore the situation any longer, leading to Diddy's arrest. What's clear from Dawn's testimony is that Diddy's empire was built on fear, abuse, and manipulation, and now it's all coming crashing down around him. But Diddy isn't the only one caught in the crossfire of this scandal. Usher, one of the biggest names in the music industry, And someone who has always maintained a clean image has found himself wrapped up in this mess too. To understand how Usher fits into this, we have to go back to the beginning of his career.
Discovered when he was 14 years old by P. Diddy. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2012, Usher admitted that Puff Daddy had brought him to sex parties and exposed him to drugs when he signed to the record label. The cycle repeated when Puff Daddy found Justin Bieber around the same age as when he found Usher. According to Justin Bieber's own mother, Puff Daddy corrupted her son, pressuring him to go to these drug-fueled parties. This all becomes even more disturbing given the R. Kelly level allegations brought up against Sean Puffy Combs this past year. Countless other women and men all tell the same story of being drugged and SA'd by P. Diddy. P. Diddy allegedly admitted to murdering people to keep this all quiet.
Usher was only 14 years old when he was sent to live with Diddy to learn the ropes of the music business. At that time, Diddy was already a powerhouse in the industry, and Usher's family members thought Diddy could help Usher in becoming a star. But looking back, that decision might not have been the best for Usher, as there have long been allegations that Diddy exposed him to inappropriate things during his stay there. Are interviews where Usher has spoken about his time living with Diddy. And if you look closely, you can see that he's uncomfortable when the topic comes up. One interview that stands out is his chat with Howard Stern, where Usher revealed witnessing some wild things during his time at Diddy's house. He didn't give too many details, but what he did say was enough to raise eyebrows. Usher described the environment as wild, and said that while he was there to observe the lifestyle, there were things he didn't fully understand at the time.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. It was curious. I got a chance to see some things. It was pretty wild.
Usher past comments on Diddy now going viral. These are places that a 13-year-old probably should not be. This has led to speculation for years that Usher might have been one of Diddy's victims, having been exposed to situations no teenager should have been involved in. Meanwhile, Diddy himself has made some bizarre comments about his relationship with Usher. He once mentioned that he and Usher used to sleep in the same bed and shared weird stories. Now fast forward to Don's revelations, and Usher's name is coming up again. But this time in a much darker light. According to Don, Usher wasn't just a bystander during some of Diddy's most troubling moments. Don claims that Usher witnessed Diddy's abusive behavior, especially in an incident involving Cassie, and did nothing at one dinner party where several high-profile guests were present. Don described how D allegedly punched Cassie in the stomach right in front of everyone, causing her to double over in pain. Usher was at that dinner along with other celebrities, and according to Don, not a single person stepped in to help Cassie, including Usher. This has left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about Usher. If Don's claims are true, it suggests that Usher may have turned a blind eye to Diddy's abusive behavior. It's one thing to be a victim, but it's a whole other story if User was aware of what was happening and chose to stay silent. This revelation is causing many people to look at Usher in a new light, wondering if he's as innocent as we've been led to believe. Fans are feeling a deep sense of betrayal. Social media has exploded with reactions, and the disappointment is obvious. One user commented saying, "The fact that you're still associated with the person who exposed you to such sick behavior and acts as a lot. Birds of a kind flock together." Another person wrote, "Diddy first, and then the minions next." This brings us to the toxic culture that seems to have surrounded Diddy's empire for years. Diddy's notorious house, often referred to as Puffy Flavor Camp, has long been rumored to be a hotbed of wild activities. It was a place where young artists like Usher and even younger prodigies were immersed in a world of excess. According to multiple accounts, including Don Richards, did he use this environment to manipulate and control people, especially younger artists who were desperate to succeed. Don Richards has been vocal about how Danity Kane in particular was treated during their rise to fame. The girls were put through 48 hour rehearsals with barely any food, rest, or breaks. Diddy would push them to the edge. His tactics were often cruel. Don has shared stories of how he would insult the girls, calling them names and constantly belittling their efforts. This kind of treatment wasn't just limited to Danity Kane. Over the years, other artists and former associates of Diddy have come forward with their own stories of mistreatment. There's been a long history of accusations against him, ranging from verbal abuse to illegal business practices.
He has been arrested after a grand jury on charges on unjust. The court has confirmed the rap mogul has been given 8 civil lawsuits registered of over. Now, according to TMZ, Diddy was taken into federal custody. The FBI field.
Diddy is currently staring down the barrel of some serious legal trouble with multiple lawsuits and potential federal charges looming over him. This all stems from Don Richards' explosive testimony. According to sources close to the case, federal authorities are looking into various charges including racketeering and even human trafficking. Due to the alleged exploitation of young women, he is facing the possibility of serious jail time if the evidence comes up in court. Meanwhile, there's also the growing possibility that Usher might find himself tangled in this legal web. So far, he has remained silent. But with Don's revelations and the investigation ramping up, there's speculation that he could be implicated either as a witness or as someone who enabled Diddy's actions. As we come to the end of this wild saga, it's clear that Diddy's arrest marks a pivotal moment. Authorities are clearly not taking these accusations lightly. And as the investigation progresses, we may see even more charges put against him. Now, here's the real question for y'all. Do you think Usher is just as guilty as Diddy? Or is it possible that he's another victim caught in Diddy web, manipulated just like so many others? I want to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. And before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications, because we will be keeping a close eye on this case and bringing you the latest updates. And thanks for watching our video.